Welcome to Unforbidden Truth. I'm Andrew. Today I'll be speaking with Rita Isbell, the sister of Jeffrey Dahmer victim Errol Lindsey. Errol was a 19-year-old resident of Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time of his tragic murder. Those who knew him characterized him as a principled and kind hearted individual, always eager to assist others and forge new friendships. Errol enjoyed considerable popularity within his social circle and maintained a close bond with his family, particularly with his mother and sister. It was reported that Errol had been sent on an errand to have a key duplicated, but fate intervened that day when he encountered Jeffrey Dahmer. On April 7th, 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer was also residing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when he met Errol on the street and promptly decided to invite him back to his apartment. Unlike many of Dahmer's previous victims, Errol was heterosexual and exhibited no sexual attraction towards Dahmer. Nevertheless, Dahmer quickly established a rapport with him, captivated Errol with his conversation, and offering him beer. Once Errol entered the apartment, Dahmer drugged him and then used power tools to drill a hole in his skull. Subsequently, he poured hydrochloric acid into the opening, intending to induce a vegetative state to his victim. When he was later interrogated about his actions, Dahmer asserted that his primary desire was to prevent these men from leaving him. He envisioned a partner who would be entirely submissive and devoid of personal will, believing that he could control such an individual without concern for their welfare, which he considered the ideal relationship. However, the drilling procedure failed initially, and when Errol regained consciousness, sitting up and requesting water while complaining of a headache, in response, Dahmer drugged him once more, but this time he opted to strangle the 19-year-old to death. Following that, he decapitated Errol, meticulously cleaned his skull for his collection, and proceeded to flay the body, with reports indicating that Jeffrey had intended to preserve Errol's skin. Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested on July 21st, 1991. He would be tried for 15 homicides, convicted, and receive 15 life sentences without the possibility of parole, which was equivalent to 941 years in prison. And he would later be convicted and sentenced to an additional life sentence for murder in Ohio. On November 28th, 1994, Jeffrey Dahmer and fellow prisoner Jesse Anderson were murdered by fellow prisoner, convicted murderer Christopher Scarver. Christopher Scarver was sentenced to 2 life sentences for the murders of Dahmer and Anderson. I hope you enjoy my interview with Rita Isbell.
I'm Rita Isbell from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
What was your household like growing up?
Oh boy, you just went right in. It's a twist. My household growing up I loved it. But see, you don't realize that I wasn't raised up with my siblings or my mother. So yeah,
Oh, okay,
I,
okay. I never realized that.
yeah, I thought my brothers and sisters were my nieces and nephews, and I thought my mother was my sister
Oh, wow.
for years. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Hmm.
So, can you tell me about your brother Errol and what kind of person he was?
Okay, since his life was so short, it's not very much to tell, but yeah, I remember the day he was born. Um, he was very outgoing. He was a people person. He had his hobbies, which were playing the drums and eating caramel candies. He loved caramels and playing with my children. Yeah, I was more like a mother to him than a sister. And he wasn't afraid of anything or anybody. And if you did something to him, he would definitely come back for you. But he was just a typical teenager. He was really a teenager and made it to his teenager. He got in some trouble because they're kind of rough, went without. But yeah, he had a girlfriend or two. So he left behind 2 children that he never got to see. And see, he left home, what was that? April 7th, something like that. And we didn't get that phone call until July 23rd of that year. And its one daughter was born 4 months after we found out that that had happened to him. So yeah.
All right. So can you share some of your earliest memories of Errol and what he was like growing up?
Oh, he was very bad. He used to he ran out in the street and got hit by a car. He was like maybe 7 or 8. So he survived that. And he could draw real good. As a matter of fact, he had drew uh, a picture of this house, and it looked identical to the house that they were living in when that had happened to him. And he had, no, his teacher had put it on a display at the school, and they presented it to the family after he had passed. So yeah, he worked. He had a little job when that happened. Uh, he went to church. He was silly. He would come and tell me things that were going on in the home that he didn't agree with. Like I said, it's not a whole lot to tell. He went to school. He didn't finish. I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and he had got in some trouble here in Milwaukee. And my mother was trying to save him, so she brought him to me in Cleveland and left him there with me. But he got homesick, so he wanted to go back home. And I sent him back home. And within 4 months, that's when that happened to him.
Hmm.
Do you want me to do? Are you just going to ask me specifically what happened, or you want me to just say what happened?
Um, I mean, that's totally up to you. I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything by any means.
But you got to understand, it's been over 30 something years. My emotions have been all over the place since then. I even forgave Dahmer.
Right.
I'm not that. Life goes on. I gotta live. I have children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren. I just can't stay stuck there. I understand people like yourself doing podcasts, and this is your business. This is how you get paid. But me, myself, I'm not gonna stay there. So I'll go back there with you as you ask me questions, but I'll come right back out. I just can't live there.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. And then I get so many uh TikTokers. They're all young, and this is exciting to them because this is unreal. This is like a movie. No, this didn't happen. So they. I have within a year. I think I have over 600 and some odd number thousands of views and likes and all that stuff, and they still doing it. They still. So I don't do very many TikToks, and I'm getting ready to do one which I should have did one. What was yesterday was the 23rd. That's when the story broke, July 23rd. But yeah, I was gonna do one yesterday, but I got busy. But I'm
Hmm.
getting ready to do another one, and they keep asking me when am I coming back, and I just don't have time for that. I just don't. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, my brother was one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims, and I'm here telling my story once again.
So, I know you spoke a little bit about this already, but how did you first hear about what happened to your brother, and what was your initial reaction?
I was living in Tennessee then. I was living in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I got a couple of phone calls from here from a close friend, and I can't remember the second person because we already knew people were coming up missing here in Milwaukee. So the news broke and said that they found where the people were. They found some bodies in this building, and he was saying that we think your brother might be one of them. But the knock on the door, the Red Cross, the Red Cross called me and told me to pack up mine and my children's things. We had an emergency at home. That's how I found out. And they sent us here. That's how I found out. So yeah.
So at the time, how did the media coverage and public attention affect you and your family during the time?
Well, it was two separate things. Like I was telling you, my mother, my mother was living here with her children, her grown children. She had put out a missing persons report on Earl because he left home and it was warm that day in April. And they didn't ever find him. So when the story broke, the detectives went to her house and said, "We think we know where your son is. Can you give us his dental records? Go to the dentist and find his dental records." And so they came back, as they told her before. If we don't come back, it wasn't him. If we come back, it's him. They came back. They didn't have to say nothing. She knew. So I still wasn't there when this was going on. So the media and people were all coming to my mother's place, and they didn't know how to handle it. Plus, they were feeling guilty because they kind of initiated him being out of that house. So, yeah, nobody knows the whole story. It's an inside personal story. When I tell the media, they cross that out and don't want to tell that part. They want to make it for their stuff, but they don't never tell. That's why I stopped doing it because nobody tells what I tell them anyway. They just take bits and pieces. It leads up to what happened, how he got a hold of, how he came in contact with Jeffrey Dahmer. It's because of my mother, my sister, and my brother wasn't in it this time. But it's always I don't know. All I know is when I finally landed in Milwaukee, my mother's siblings were here. They came for what I don't know, but they came because they didn't console her. So they got the funeral arrangements, which was not in Milwaukee. They had it where he was born, and that's in Michigan City, Indiana. And like I said, I wasn't here then. I finally came, finally landed. So we all got together, and of course they ignored me. I don't know, but anyway, that's another story. They told me that the funeral was going to be in Michigan City, Indiana. Meet them there at the house on this day and such a time. When I went to go meet them, they were gone. I never made it to the funeral. So go figure. I didn't even get to go to my brother's funeral. And since I didn't get to go, well, not since I didn't get to go, you would think that the ones that attended everything, they would be the ones behind fighting for him. You don't ever hear from them. Have you? Have you ever heard of any other my talk about? But yeah, that was hurtful too. Yet and still I'm doing all the fighting for him because there was a dollar involved and that's all they were interested in, which wasn't very much of that either. No, as a matter of fact, the family is getting ready to have my mother's 90th birthday party next month. I wasn't invited. I'm not a part of them. It's just total separation. No, I don't.
So, were there any particular memories or moments with your brother that you hold on to most dearly?
Yeah, when we were in Cleveland, um, my youngest daughter was like 2, and he used to always take her mouth and squeeze it and make her lips go like Sonny and Cher and make her say, "Babe, I got you, babe," and she couldn't even talk. So yeah, and then well, my daughter, she can tell you more about the fun memories because she was telling me some things that I wasn't aware of. How he used to have her on the handlebars of the bike and slam on brakes and throw her off. Yeah, she hit him one day and he just, yeah, he made my girls rough like boys. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Uh, he would do anything I asked him to do. Anything I asked him to do. And he had a real raspy voice. A real raspy voice. Mhm. Yeah. So yeah. I wasn't raised around him. So it wasn't like I was around him every day. I wasn't raised with them. Yeah, I was like his protector. I was the firstborn and he was the last. And it was 6 of us. Whenever he felt like things wasn't going right at home, he'd come and tell me. He'll come to my house and tell me because he figured I could do something about it. Yeah. Okay.
So, have you been involved in any advocacy work or support for victims of violent crimes since this happened?
Yeah, I was, but it's such a mess here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not a good place for anything, I'm telling you, unless you're going fishing. Yeah. Um, yeah, we were involved in this program during and after the trial, but maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am anyway. It was like the person who was over it, it was a state program. The person who was over it, she was the only one benefiting from it because we used to have to get up. We had to be in court at 8 o'clock in the morning and be there all day. We couldn't show no remorse. If we get up, we'll lose our seats. We were treated like crap in that courtroom. And that I got involved in a couple of things. I don't remember, but I left the state. I'm never always here in Milwaukee. I'm in and out. I'm in Milwaukee because my children and grandchildren are here. Otherwise I wouldn't be here now. Or I'll leave. To the point where I even lived in North Dakota. Yeah. Yeah. I travel all the time. That is something I love dearly. And I travel alone all the time. I still do. Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think society can learn from cases like your brother's in terms of preventing similar tragedies?
Well, they're not gonna prevent it. You got to really get down to the core of this. It was happening before Jeffrey Dahmer. It was happening during Jeffrey Dahmer, and it's still happening right now. Um, you can learn a lot if you want to learn. If you figure it's not going to happen to you, then you're just stupid because it can. And then, especially with the young people, because they do drugs. Not to say that drugs wasn't around back then, but they wasn't tampered with like they are today. Drugs are make you think you can create another world. So yeah, we have incidents here every day that doesn't make world news. Don't make world news, but they just as bad as what happened. Like we just had this one lady, not even a month ago. She was what, 18 on a dating site. Met up with this guy for the first time. He picked her up, or she picked him up, and the next thing we know, it was body parts. Spread it all over Milwaukee. Yeah, they found out who did it, who the girl was. Yeah, this just happened. This is never gonna stop. This kind of stuff is gonna go on till there's no more earth. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. I don't mean you person. I'm talking about us. You have to be in a spiritual realm. Because this is a spiritual warfare. This is just not somebody decide to get out of bed and go outside and commit this stuff. This is spiritual. This is good versus evil. This is what we're dealing with. That's why it's never going to stop. It was here from the beginning of time. Yeah. You just got demons in and out of people's body, jumping. Yeah.
So, have you had any contact with other families who were affected by Jeffrey Dahmer? And if so, has that connection helped or affected you?
A lot of them passed. A lot of them are sick. A lot of them are old. And the only one that's really active is Shirley Hughes. She has a team. She has her team. She has attorneys and all that. She has a team. No, I don't. No. A lot of the families didn't get along when the trial was going on. It was a hot mess. They were fighting each other. Y'all don't have a clue what all happened. It was more mess going on with the families than it was with Jeffrey. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. I'm telling you. I've been trying to put this book out forever. It keeps growing and growing. Like, oh, yeah. I'm going to be about the only one that tells the whole truth. The whole truth. All of it that I know. You know, people like to make it look nice and sweet, but it wasn't so. It's so, you
Well,
know.
the truth deserves to be out there, so I'm glad that you're doing that.
Mhm. Yeah. A lot of people don't feel I should write the book. People that I know, oh, you shouldn't do it. You should just leave it alone. No, this is my story and I'm telling it. Because they figure they'll be mentioned, but I won't. I won't make them relevant. I'm just gonna stay to the story. Because
That's
I'm
good.
pretty, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because nobody in the world would believe that I didn't attend the funeral. They'll think I'm lying for days. You didn't go to the funeral. No, I didn't get a chance to go,
Hmm.
which wasn't nothing to see anyway, but still.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to other families who've experienced sudden and violent loss like your family did?
Well, the number one thing, I don't care who they are, what their lifestyle is. You still love them. You don't mistreat them. You don't kick them out of the house for whatever reason. But in what I was told, now I personally don't think my brother was gay. Like I tell you the story behind how he um, ran across Jeffrey Dahmer, which was because he got kicked out of the house over some money. They're money hungry and don't do nothing with it. Well, my sister's a gambler, my brother's a crackhead. So yeah, my mother stood there and watched the whole thing go down, which I don't understand it. How can you carry somebody for 9 months, give birth to them, and just let your other children, because you're afraid of them, act as if they're the parent? That's crazy to me. And she stood there and watched the whole thing go down. And then, okay, I just started in the middle of something, so you're not knowing where I'm coming from. But yeah, it was very dysfunctional home they lived in. And then, of course, it was, like I said, my brother and sister were on drugs and they ran the house. As a matter of fact, when we came to Milwaukee, when the Red Cross sent us here, they had eviction notice right then, and it was embarrassment. Oh, what we gonna do? We don't want the people to know. Yeah, they had to move. I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Uh, you can ask me a question.
Okay. So, what do you think about Netflix and so many other media outlets portraying you in their films and documentaries when it came to confronting Jeffrey Dahmer in court?
I had a problem with that because Ian lied about asking the family members. He never called none of us. He just took it and ran with it and did what he wanted to do with it, got his little award, and hey, money in his pocket, and screw the families and how they feel. So you got to take it. What can you do? Go kill him, go to jail. It ain't worth it. If money is your God, then money is your God. That's how I look at life. I'm not letting nothing get on my nerves no more. If money makes you, fine. Money can do all this stuff, then damn it shouldn't be nobody in the cemeteries. That's how I feel about it, including yourself. Because you're going to die. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying people in general. You're going to die. We're all going to die and take nothing with us. Yeah. So, yeah. It gave me opportunity to talk to people that Ryan Murphy and Ian and all of them had conversation with. I actually got a chance to talk to them. And they told me what went down as far as that movie and they part to play in. Ryan Murphy had called, it's on my phone, this one man that was um, pen pals with the Scarford man that killed Jeffrey Dahmer in prison. He was putting money on his books and sending him things and all of this stuff. So Ryan was trying to put that in the movie also, but for whatever reason he didn't. And he would not give me his phone number though. He wouldn't do it. I'll try to get Ryan Murphy's phone number. He just would not do it. I said, okay. So I did find that out. Yeah. He didn't use a lot of information that he did gather, he didn't use it. And a lot of stuff that he put in the movie, he created it. Didn't happen because I wasn't living with my mother. Me and my mother didn't come to the door when the detective. I wasn't here, so that was a total lie. Mm, yeah, but I can't stop people from making movies. I'm one person. Nobody's gonna stand with me. They don't see what I see. I see things totally different from most people. That's how come I can go through this. I do everything by myself. Everything. Everything. I move in silence. I don't want nobody to know nothing unless I want you to know. When all the people were coming, wanting me to do interviews and stuff, they couldn't find me, and I was right here just watching them. I was right here in Milwaukee. I was just watching them. So they went and found some of my relatives that didn't know nothing, like Eric Perry. They all younger than me. They younger than Earl. They didn't know him. They was just saying stuff like, well, I don't think my family likes this, that. You didn't even know him. They don't want to talk to him anyway. They wanted me, and I wasn't ready for them. I just was not ready for that. I had already dealt with that over 30 years ago, and we right back at it. So, mhm, yeah.
So how did you feel when you found out that Christopher Scarver had murdered Jeffrey Dahmer in prison?
Of course, at that time, I was happy as hell, but I don't even feel that way now. I listened to his son, Christopher Scarver's son, talk about his relationship with his dad. He only knew him for a little while, and he was an intelligent man. He encouraged his son to stay in school, finish school. Mhm. But it's just like anything else. It happened. It happened. I remember the incident with the guy that he killed with him that blamed the murder of his wife on a black man at the mall out here. I remember a lot of stuff. I just can't remember names too well no more. And I don't you have to get that stuff out of your soul, out of your spirit, because you become bitter. You do. You still got to walk around here with love. You still have to do that, unless you're a demon yourself, and there's more demons than people. I mean, good people. I know. You have never had an interview like this one.
No, I haven't.
I know. I know you have it. I know you have it. Yeah, I don't have any more tears to shed, and the last time I cried was on Dr. Phil when Billy and Preston was on there, and they were giving details of what this monster actually did to the. See, I just thought it was what he said. Gave him the drink, passed out, did and drilled a hole in his head. My brother was the one who drilled a hole in his head. Poured that in there and it didn't work. He woke up and said he had a headache. And so I just thought he strangled him. No, that wasn't all he did. I was like, what? I thought I was done with this. Nope. Still finding out stuff every day. Yeah. So that just broke me down. And then we did a documentary. Billy Preston and we did a documentary here for 4 days. Um, that was real cool. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. And these people came out of some part of the UK. Yeah, they came from the UK. I did the UK, but well, they all sound alike. But anyway, yeah, I did New York, Atlanta, Chicago, my hometown, Michigan City, um, places I don't even remember. Yeah, I did lot of. Oh, we even did some that we went down on where the apartment building was and filmed down there. I did more this time than I did when it actually happened back in 91, 92. But it was different then. Nobody came to me. It wasn't all this new stuff. Now, I actually had to fly to their studios then. But now, oh yeah, I went to California. I did about, I bet you know this group of people. Um, Dear John,
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them. I've heard of them, yeah.
you gotta you gotta reach out to them. You got to talk to them. Yeah, they flew me out there, and I met with Tara. Yeah, stayed there for a couple days. Yeah, she's on now too. We keep in touch, and her ex boyfriend did one. What was his name? Where he watched his dad kill his mom when he was a kid. Um, I'll think of it before it's over with. Yeah, did quite a bit of them. So yeah, that's how I learned how to work Zoom. You know, I'm going on 70, right?
Oh, really? You don't look like it. You look very good for your age.
It's been I was in my 30s when that happened.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's been hard, but I got through it. But like I said, Earl had just turned 19. He just turned 19. And he had gotten into some trouble. I'm gonna pick up where I left off at. He had gotten into some trouble here in Milwaukee. I was living in Cleveland then. And he's he and this boy got into a fight, or young man or whatever. And Earl ended up stabbing the boy, and he paralyzed him. And the police was looking for him. So my mother brings him to me in Cleveland to hide him out. So he was ready to come back to Milwaukee. I let him come back. My sister, I guess she wanted him to give her some marijuana or money or something. And he wouldn't. And she put him out. She put the boy out. He didn't have nowhere to go, but he had some friends. His friends and their parents stayed upstairs from where they were living. So he went up there, and the children's mother let him stay up there. Let me back up. Okay. After Earl killed the boy, I mean, stabbed the boy, my sister wanted him to give her some weed or marijuana. He told her no. So she threatened him, threatened to call the police on him and let the police know where he was. So my mother gets him and bring him to me in Cleveland. Mind you, I didn't know. I just thought she brought him to visit. I didn't know all this was going on. So he stayed with us for what, a couple months or so. He was ready to come back home. I let him come back home. He didn't last 4 months. She put him out. So he went and stayed upstairs with the people. So the lady needed to give him a key to go and get made. So he went to the key shop. I think this was on a Sunday. He went to the key shop. There's a porn bookstore next to the key shop. He walked past there. Jeffrey Dahmer approaches him. Hi, how would you like to make extra money doing odd jobs? My brother just got put out. Yeah. I said, yeah. He said, okay, you have to come back with me to my apartment for more details. His apartment was up the street. He didn't have nothing to do, nowhere to go. Still had the key in his pocket when they found his remains. Um, so my brother go in the key shop and get the key made and come back out and follow Jeffrey Dahmer home, and that was the end of that. That's how he ran into Jeffrey Dahmer.
I never knew that. I've heard that he went to go make a key, but I never really heard the details
Yeah,
beyond that.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's bits and pieces. No, it goes together. It's a puzzle. Nobody knows the whole truth. Nobody knows, and I know my folks do not want me to write this book. They praying that I don't write this book. They're praying that I don't write this book. Yeah. The world didn't know he had 2 children. They're grown with their own children. 2 girls. Yeah. They said they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. They couldn't stand the just the to hear about it. They couldn't deal with it. So I did give them an opportunity to, you know, I let the world know who they were. And then they was all trying to get them to come on the shows and talk, and they didn't want to. So I had to let the world know that if you want to talk to them, you have to go through me. Because you didn't even know nothing about them until I told you, and they don't want to have nothing to do with it.
That's understandable.
Yeah. And then the family got mad about me letting the world know that Earl had children because they were thinking like before, whatever funds they got went to my mother. So they was banking on some money being generated and then it was gonna go to my mother and they have control of her. I'm telling the truth. So they were mad at me about that too. Yeah. It's all about money. It's all about money. I'm gonna smoke while we talk.
Okay, that's fine.
And this is my coffee. I've been I stopped smoking forever. Yeah.
So, what do you think we can do as a society, if we can do anything, to prevent sexual abuse from happening or help those who've suffered from sexual abuse?
I know what I'm gonna say. I'm just trying to make you understand why I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Okay, look, you got the world pushing, and it used to be a hidden agenda, but it's not anymore. It's just out here blunt in your face. If you have the world pushing gay stuff, there is no making it safe anymore. There is no making it safe anymore. I have, I don't have no issues with gay people at all. Never have. Some of my good friends are gay, and they're the best people I ever met. But if the world is pushing this on our children, giving our children rights to do whatever they want to do with their body, even though they don't know, they're not sure what they want to do with their body. It's just a emotional feeling right then. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It's designed for you not to do nothing. You just, in this world right now, you just have to look out for you and yours. There's no this world. You have to separate yourself from all of this stuff that's going on because you know it's not natural. It wasn't like this before. You got to look at the big picture. It's the reason why things are happening today like it is. Straight is not straight. They look at straight people like they're the ones that's wrong. The gay people have rights. Even black people still don't have rights. Gay people have rights. Asian people have rights. You just got to remember. I told you you just have to stay in the spirit. That's the only way you're gonna win down here. You have to move in the spirit. You do. You really, because that's what it is. It's stuff you don't see. It's stuff you don't see. It's been multiple times. I've talked to my children. I showed them things, and they see it and come back and tell me. We know it's um, AIs walking around here. We know that we see them. And they know we know. Yes, I do. Reptilians. Oh, yeah. And nobody's going to believe you. You just have to protect yourself. We see shadows walk our path, by our paths all the time, but they know not to mess with us. So I'm going to get back to what you think we can do, what I think we can do to prevent sexual abuse and everything. Uh, I can only answer for myself. I just can't because I don't understand people myself today. I don't. It's gotten to the point where you can just be walking down the street minding your own business and they'll lash out at you. All the time, it's not drugs. It's not drugs all the time. I can walk down the street sometime and see a butt naked from head to toe person walking just like it's normal. Just walking the street. Yeah. Mhm. Seriously. Oh, mama, did you see that? Yes, I told you. Yes. We see everything here. And the police hardly ever come around. You don't hardly ever see them. They speed right past the police. The police don't chase them enough. Sad. It is. Mhm. Yeah, that one guy who came, I don't know where he came from. It was another country. He came from somewhere, and we were down there filming by the building where Dahmer was doing all the killing, and it's still bad over there. And he had his camera, and he was just walking. He said, "Rita, do you have a bat?" I said, "No, you need more than a bat, honey." I said, "You wanted to come over here, and now you see how it was so easy for him to take people to his apartment. Yeah, it's still bad over there. They say they cleaning it up, but it's bad over there." Yeah, he was frightened. And then he got on the phone with his parents. Mind you, this guy was like 30 years old. He called his parents, and his parents were so afraid for him. It was sad. It's sad. I wish I can get everybody that wanted to interview me and just come. Come. We're all down here together. Put yourself, imagine yourself right here. Yeah. And then he had the nerve to be feeding people, feeding the neighbors' people. And then, the stench in the building was horrific. But if you're around a bunch of drug addicts, he picked that place on purpose because when he first came to Milwaukee, he was living in this little township called West Dallas with his grandmother. He didn't want that. He had something he wanted to do. So I don't know if Jeffrey Dahmer was prejudiced or eat one. Yeah, all of that into one. But you can control it. That's the part that messed me up. You can control it. Yes, you can control it in that courtroom, and you controlled it when you went to work. Yeah. Oh yeah, that other guy that Scarver killed. His name was Jesse Anderson. That was his name, Jesse Anderson.
Yeah, people tend to forget that Christopher Scarver had killed one other person besides Jeffrey Dahmer because Jeffrey Dahmer got all the, I guess, quote
Go.
unquote, spotlight when it came to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot to tell. It's a lot to tell. A lot of people were involved. Yeah. And then back to Ryan Murphy. That was like a spit in your face. When you make documentaries or movies about dead people, that's one thing. But you don't do that in a person that's alive, because I did not appreciate him taking my pain, turning it into a movie without my consent, and go pay somebody to be me when I could have just been myself.
Hmm.
She had on everything I had. She said every word I said. And you know, Miss Cleveland, the one that was helping counteract, sent them some phones, the Asian boy that took them back. You know, she passed too. She's no longer with us either. They say she did, but then this other lady got on there and told the story that her family was driving down the street and saw the naked boy and got out the car, and they was actually having an argument with Jeffrey Dahmer about that boy before the police got there. So yeah, it's a bunch of lies we're told.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, there was so much that I'm sure they had to cover up to make
Yeah.
themselves look good when it came to the investigation. So, is there anything that you'd like the public to know about your brother or any of these cases that haven't been public?
No, no. I'm just going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to tell the whole story. My brother played a little role in this because, like I said, he wasn't that old. But it's going to lead up to all the other ones. And you know his dad died.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he died a couple months ago or something like that.
Oh, wow.
I would get, when stuff happened pertaining to that case, I would get bits and pieces, and they let me know. And they also let me know that the movie was coming out, and they also telling me that they're doing another movie around Halloween. See what I'm saying? And then you got people that like scary movies, real gruesome, scary movies. Yeah, but in a way, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but in a way, had this not happened, I don't think I would be as knowledgeable as I am right now with my health, everything. I figured I'm a diabetic. They had me on all kind of, I can call them narcotics because that's what they are. They had me on all kind of pharmaceuticals, and I'm a type 1 diabetic. Diabetic. I took that pain and did my research on everything that was wrong with my body. I don't take nothing no more except for the insulin. And if I just eat fruit, I don't even have to shoot insulin. I wouldn't have done that if this hadn't happened because I isolated myself. I'm just going for what's good and what's good for me. I'm no good, and I can't help nobody if I can't help myself. If I'm not good to myself, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel on how to uh, get off of insulin and medication for diabetes, which the world will tell you once you got it, you can't get rid of it, especially one. Mhm. So it's working for me. Take a lot of supplements every day, every day. I'm not in, I used to be in so much pain. Yeah, so I took that and turned it for my good. and learn when to eat, how to eat. Yeah, stay healthy. It's all about surviving. Then I'm going to also probably do a podcast about when everything fails, how to escape. Because I don't know if you heard or believe that, they're making all these places for camps where you can't get away when that time comes. Because it's headed that way anyway. We don't have a president. We don't have a president. That's why they playing with this stuff. And everybody has to answer to somebody. Yeah, you go where most people don't go. You travel the road less traveled. That's the way you want to go today. You don't want to be in a big crowd. You want to steer away from all that stuff. You need to think. You need to be in touch. You do. You gotta it's just not the same. And I'm glad I see things different from most people. Yes, I miss my brother. Yes, Dahmer took his life. And it was meant for me to be mean and angry and cruel to other people and myself and be sick. But no, you flip it. You just flip it. Mm-hmm. You flip it. You flip it. You take it all and turn it for your good. There's something good in everything. I don't care what it is, or there's something good in everything. What's in you is going to come out. You want good to pour out of you. You want all that toxic out of you. So yes, I miss my brother, and he wasn't a good person either. He did some things he knew better and didn't have any. See, just like this. Shortly before this happened, and he moved back there, don't you know my brother stole a nun's purse? See what I'm
Mhm.
saying? See what I'm saying? You got to tell the truth too. If I
Right.
say something like that, people gonna believe me. That was wrong. She shouldn't have did that. That was her brother. But it's the truth. He stole a nun's purse. Yeah, I just had somebody tell me, I was reading some comments on TikTok. They just said, they try to be sarcastic and funny and want you to get upset. He said, your brother got what he deserved. That's what he said. And I said to myself, I didn't comment. I said to myself, he really did. Yeah, I can laugh about it because I know our relationship we had. Because if he had been alive still, and I know he did that, I would have told him about himself. He would have laughed at first, but he would have thought about it. He would have thought about it. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Mhm. So yeah. And nobody will never tell you about their loved ones, about the stuff they really did. They only tell about the good stuff.
Hmm.
You know that.
Right.
You, mhm. Yeah. But in order for you to cross that path, you did just like the other guys that he murdered that were gay, they were in a gay place. So anything subject to go down in a gay place. Mhm. Taking you home to your grandmother's house and all that kind of stuff. Now, the next thing I'm gonna conquer is these right here. Sometimes this is my food. Sometimes I won't eat. When I do this, I'll come and see you. I got some friends that live in Arizona. Mhm. Portland. Mhm.
Portland. Yeah, Portland's not that. Portland's. I'm gonna be in Portland this fall for a podcast festival. Actually, that's cool.
Yeah, I got a couple buddies live out there. I gotta come and taste the fish. They told me to come and taste the fish.
Oh yeah, the Pacific Northwest, you're not going to find any better fish and chips than here. I don't like fish
They told
myself, but all my family does, and they say it's great.
me to come. Mm-hmm. And where were we at? Oh, I had a grandson that was going to move to Seattle. And you know what? I have other things that's going on beside that because speaking of my grandson, when we were living in North Dakota, now this was after the Dahmer situation. I have a set of identical twin grandsons. What year was that? 15, 2015. He blew his brains out in front of his twin. So yeah, I just could, like I was telling you, I can't stop what Dahmer did. My life consists of other stuff. Yeah, that happened also. So life don't stop just because. Yeah,
Right. Sometimes we get to just pick up the pieces and move on, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. But I still enjoy life. Sometimes I don't. I just bought a car, right? I bought a car last Wednesday. It got towed Friday
Oh wow.
because I didn't have my tags on it. So I had to go get that. So the approach that I took, because I didn't know if it was stolen or towed. And you know what I said about it? I said, I don't care. I just go. I dealt with it, but I got it back. And another thing, you know how come I'm this way? It's because I take ashwagandha. It calms you down. It's a it's a supplement. Because I'm real radical. Like you saw me in the courtroom, yeah. But now, I had to. I was going to end up in a penitentiary.
Hmm.
Yeah. Real. So yeah, I had to learn. I had to learn tonight. Yeah,
Right, right. Well, that's
and I
good.
have. And then people, Tamara Hall invited me to be on her show. You know what she did to me? She wanted me to do a background check because of my reaction in the court.
Oh wow,
Yeah, she.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
I did. I didn't do it. I said you don't do anybody else that way, and I'm not going. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely be in touch. That was my interview with Rita Isbell. If you're interested in picking up some merch like a t-shirt, tank top, or coffee mug, head on over to unforbiddentruth.org. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.